Today I want to talk about a favourite attachment of mine, the general purpose rake bucket. Some people call them landscape rakes, but this thing has been a real advantage for me and is one of my favourite attachments. If you've got customers like me that don't want to pay for fresh topsoil and want you to become a magician and magically turn as dug, rooty, stony stuff into some kind of magically screened soil, then this might just be the tool for you. Especially if you do landscaping work, any kind of finishing. It's saved me quite a bit of money in various jobs, and is a great tool to have in your arsenal of attachments. I've got one for both of my machines, the 801 and this obviously on the 8026, and this particular one's made by Digbits, and I will just go through what I like about the bucket and a few bits that I don't like so much. So yeah, see what you think. So as I say, I've got two of these buckets, obviously one for the 8026 and one for my 801, and they're brilliant little tools. One of my favourite attachments that go with me to most jobs that I have. This particular one is made by Digbits, and actually I prefer this in a way to the one that I've got for the 801, which was made by BMC. There's nothing wrong with the BMC one, and it's been a really good tool, but this Digbits one is superior, mainly because it's made out of hardox, the tines of hardox, which, I mean, I've given this thing some real abuse and it just hasn't bent it at all. Whereas my BMC one, I've got a couple of these teeth are sort of bent over, and yeah, you can bend them back, but yeah, this has been a really good tool. You can actually dig roots out with this if you're an animal like I am, and it will just pull them out. It doesn't bend it. Yeah, great tool. I like the grading bucket shape of it. There's several profiles of these you can get. You can get the more kind of open sort of finger hand. I prefer the grading bucket shape. You can use it more as a bucket. You can riddle with it. You can obviously screen, within reason. And for me, that's just really useful. I also saved a huge amount of money on a job by using it to scrape turf off, because you can get sort of under the turf with the teeth, and then just riddle the dirt off it, and then you're only mucking the turf away, which on this particular job with bad access was just an absolute lifesaver, and it saved importing 60 odd ton of topsoil, and the muck away costs, of course, of getting rid of the turf. So that's where my BMC one earned me a load of money on the first job. They're really good for that. I've went with a 50mm tine spacing. You can get several spacings, up to you really. They'll build them to what you want, and this is quite heavy as a bucket. You certainly don't want to be lugging it around by hand. Digger handles it fine, but obviously the more tines you have, the more metal in the bucket, the more weight. But for me, 50mm is great. Little stones sieving through aren't so bad, but this will get rid of a brick. Anything bigger than that, roots and stuff, you can get hold of it. Yeah, okay, in the wet it gets a bit clogged up. There's a season for doing this sort of stuff, and summer is really when you want to be doing it. But you can, it's quite effective still in the wet, because you can sort of back blade against the dirt, and push. Gear gets sort of caught up in here, but you can sort of clean the fingers out, and then carry on. So in all but the wettest of conditions, it does a fairly good job. You'll have seen in the little video that I've done to accompany this, that we're turning this sort of as dug crap around the margin of this new driveway into something that we can actually grass seed. I mean, it's not a bowling green by any means. You can see the kind of existing area of grass here, but this is sort of the gear you'll be left with, and I actually don't think that's too bad. You go over with that with a traditional sort of hand landscape rake quick, and yeah, nothing really wrong with that to reseed into for this kind of lawn. And you've saved the customer 100 quid or more in screen soil. Now, you could screen soil with a screening bucket, what are they, 2.5 grand, bit of time, you've got to bring it with you. Yeah, it would produce a finer job, no doubt, but for me, these sort of rougher areas, I really, in fact, even for lawns, really, the more time you spend, the more gear you'll get out of it. Obviously, this has been a 10-minute job just to get this sort of border from the crap that you saw back there to how it looks now, and it does a really good job. So I think that bucket cost me under 500 quid, even for the Hardox one. I definitely recommend the Digbits one. I know a lot of people make these now in all kinds of different profiles and shapes, but the Hardox tines for me have been a real winner, and I guess it's one of those things you don't really realise how good it is until you've got the Hardox ones. You know, you sort of bend tines and you think, oh, that's all right. You know, I'm being a bit of a knob, but yeah, you get Hardox, they don't even move. So yeah, really pleased with it. There's only one thing I'd say about it, and it's mainly to do with the way it's under the tilt rotator. So you can see it's kind of flat here, but my tilt rotator is sort of angled. It's not, the geometry on the bracket, the way that the head is mounted isn't perfect. I don't really know what I'd do to improve it, really, because tilt rotator buckets, as you know, are such a different profile to a standard excavator. And essentially this is a standard excavator's, you know, grading bucket shape, then with a tilt sort of S30 hitch on it. So yeah, it's not perfect for geometry, but more than adequate for the kind of work that it does. And yeah, that tree job I did a few months ago, it was pretty much this and the ripper, and it did everything. So yeah, great bit of kit. Digbits were very good. You know, reasonable lead time, and it's all made in the UK, which you know, I like, really. I think that's important, especially at the moment. Getting stuff here is hard enough. Can't even get hold of cement at the moment, so we need to support our UK manufacturers. They're a decent company. I got a free mug, and who can complain about that, really? So yeah, you know, others are available. I do like this Digbits one. I'm going to be I won't be buying another one for my 801 because that's being replaced, which I'll do in another video, and I'm going to go S30 on that little digger as well. So this will actually be my shared bucket between them all. But I just think it's well made, and it does a really good job for the money, really. Save your customer a bit of money, justify a bit of extra wage for you, because you're obviously doing a better job than the next man without one. And yeah, everyone's happy, I guess. Cheers, guys.